Disclaimer. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes. It is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset. Please do your own research and due diligence when choosing what to invest in. Now, on to the analysis.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to discuss how I was able to add an extra $22 to my passive income this month. So that puts me at $201 for this month. So basically, it still looks like we're on track to beat last month's passive income, which was $363, because I'm at $201 right now, and we're still in the second week of June. But we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about some news that came out from Riot as well as Bitfarms in their website. So we'll take a look at that news together as well and see what that means for us going forward. As you can see here in my options window, I added a new option, which was the $2 put expiring August 16th. So we're going to talk about this now. Now I have 19 options currently out. And so even though I have only 1,200 shares of Bitfarms at the moment, this effectively gives me control of another nine, let me see. So I have, 1,200, so 19. So it gives me control of another 700 shares of Bitfarms because I have puts on them, right? So I'm getting close to actually having control of 2,000 shares of Bitfarms stock. So that's very good. Every month I've been increasing my ownership stake of Bitfarms. So that's good. Let's see here. So let's talk about how I was able to earn this $22 passive income. As you could tell already, I mentioned I did add this $2 put. So that is what I sold this week. And so let me show you my history of Bitfarms and you'll be able to see what I did. As you can see here also, you notice from my total return, Bitfarms price did go up to $2.43. It did end up closing at $2.40, 47 cents yesterday. And so we'll see what the market cap is looking like now. And take a look at my total return. I have negative $120. Of course, I've already collected my profit from the premiums that I've collected from my buying power. You can see I have well over the $120 loss that I have here on my 1,200 shares of Bitfarms. So that's good. I'm already making a profit, and I haven't even sold a single share yet, right? So that's excellent, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a look at the history here so we could see how I made $22. I sold this $2 put expiring August 16th, and I was able to sell it for $22. So that is how I made an extra $22 in passive income this month. Okay. Now notice that since Bitfarms shares did close yesterday at 247, that means that their market cap now is at $970 million. Okay. Their market cap is currently sitting at $970 million. So that's $20 million more than what Riot Platforms had offered to buy out Bitfarms for, right? They had offered to buy them out for 950 million. But as we can see now, the share price is currently at $2.47, or at least that's what it closed at yesterday. So that puts their market cap at 970 million, getting closer and closer to that $1 billion market cap, right? So that's good news for us, ladies and gentlemen. As we can see, it's going to be harder for Riot Platforms to be able to buy out Bitfarms, okay? So that hostile takeover is getting more and more difficult. So let's talk about the news now that came out on Riot Platforms. I hope I'm not missing anything that I wanted to say, but let's take a look first at what Riot said after Bitfarms announced that they were taking the poison pill strategy in order to prevent the hostile takeover from Riot Platforms. Well, let's see what Riot's response was to that. Here we see Jason Les, Chief Executive Officer of Riot, stated, "We have attempted to privately engage with the Bitfarms board and recently sent 2 letters urging constructive collaboration with us around the addition of at least 2 new directors who are fully independent of Bitfarms and Riot." Instead of engaging with us privately and in good faith, Bitfarms has responded by implementing an off-market poison pill with a trigger well below the customary 20% threshold. So what does this mean? Well, Riot is claiming that the board members that they want to add to Bitfarms board of directors are fully independent of Bitfarms and Riot. But that's not true, right? Because if Riot is the one who are wanting to place them there on that board, then that really means that they're for Riot. So that's kind of like a false statement right there. But let's see here. The trigger, the normal trigger, of course, they say here is 20% threshold, right? But Bitfarms has used the trigger of 15%, right, in order to make it increasingly difficult for Riot to buy out Bitfarms. And that's they did speak with their legal team on that. So if that's something that they are able to do, Riot Platforms just really doesn't like that because it's going to be harder for them to be able to buy shares of Bitfarms. In order to avoid the trigger taking effect, Riot Platforms will only be able to buy up to 14.99% of Bitfarms shares. So they're kind of upset about that. But I mean, if the trigger, what happens to other shareholders if the trigger does take effect? Well, if Riot does end up buying more than 15% of Bitfarm shares by June 20th, we know that that poison pill will be initiated. And what that will effectively mean is that other shareholders, myself included, would end up getting more shares of Bitfarms for free or at a significantly low discount, right? And this is in order for Riot Platforms' stake of the company to decrease from 15% to below 15% because they in fact they really do not want Riot Platforms to have ownership of 15% of Bitfarm shares because that would make it easier for them to have a hostile takeover successful. Okay. So let's see what else he said here. This action further demonstrates that Bitfarms board's entrenchment and disregard for the perspectives of its shareholders who clearly signaled their discontent less than 2 weeks ago when they voted out company co-founder Emiliano Grodzki. In our most recent letter, we urged the Bitfarms board to facilitate the resignation and removal of chairman and interim CEO Nicholas Bonta, who has led the Bitfarms board since 2018 and bears direct responsibility for its poor corporate governance practices as a first step to address the shareholders' concerns. We will continue to push to address the serious corporate governance issues at Bitfarms and ensure that shareholders have a say on the company's path forward. So this was a dig on Bitfarms here. This comment by Jason Les, the CEO of Riot. Basically, he's saying that they have Bitfarms shareholders' best interests in mind, right? But what do they really mean by this statement? Well, since Riot owns, right now, I believe they own 13% of Bitfarms shares. They're really talking about themselves, right? They're really talking about their concerns and their interests and how their interests are not being met as a Bitfarms shareholder, right? So because they're trying to buy out Bitfarms, they're trying to do a hostile takeover of Bitfarms. So when they make this statement here, we will continue to push to address the serious corporate governance issues at Bitfarms and ensure that shareholders have a say on the company's path forward. They're really talking about themselves, their own interests. They don't really have other shareholders' interests in mind here. Okay, so that statement is also pretty false here. So now let's take a look at Bitfarms press release that they also responded to what Riot said, the Riot CEO said about them. Let's take a look at what Bitfarms' reply was to that. Here we read, the Bitfarms board of directors and management team are committed to acting in the best interests of the company and all of its shareholders. Following the receipt of multiple unsolicited expressions of interest from third parties, the Bitfarms board formed a special committee. Okay, let's see what they said in response to Riot. Here we go. It says, let's see. Okay. If Riot is passionate about corporate governance as it so purports, Riot should focus on its own board. Indeed, the Riot board's corporate governance received a higher risk rating in governance from Institutional Shareholder Services and a 0.4 out of 10 in board accountability from Glass Lewis and Company. Attacking Bitfarms governance is not only hypocritical, but it is a thinly veiled ploy to achieve Riot's own self-serving agenda, an attempt to acquire Bitfarms at a discounted price. The facts are clear. At all times, the Bitfarms board and special committee have taken the right steps to deliver the best available outcome for all our shareholders. Conversely, Riot has not acted in good faith and has demonstrated that it wants to short circuit the special committee's review and advance its inadequate proposal for Bitfarms. The special committee remains committed to the strategic alternatives review process and will continue to thoroughly evaluate all opportunities to maximize shareholder value. So, so that's the question here now that we have to try and figure out, right? Who really has the shareholders' best interest in mind? Bitfarms claims that they have shareholders' interest in mind, and Riot also claims that they have shareholders' interest in mind. But as we know, Riot owns 13% of Bitfarms company right now. So when they talk about shareholders, they're really talking about their own self-interest. Bitfarms, on the other hand, they're talking about all of its actual other shareholders' best interest in heart. So, um, I'm with Bitfarms here. As we can see, uh, Riot's initial offering to buy out Bitfarms shares at $2.30 for $950 million market cap. Obviously, that was a very low ball offer because as we can see right now at $2 and closing at $2.40, 47 cents, that put Bitfarms market cap at $970 million, as we can see here. So definitely $950 million was a very low ball offer. Riot seems to be having problems of their own, as other analysts seem to agree with. So they really should focus on their own company instead of trying to buy out Bitfarms. But of course, we know that they need Bitfarms in order to execute on some of their business plans going forward. Bitfarms, on the other hand, does not need Riot Platforms to execute on their business plans going forward. Um, their stock should continue to go up. As we know, yesterday was CPI data coming out. CPI numbers cooled off, and so that really helped the stock to go up some more. It had opened up at $2.27, and it went up to $2.43 today as of this moment. So CPI data were very good. And also the Fed, they said that there will be at least one interest rate cut this year. And if you remember from the last meeting, the only news we got from the last meeting in May, they only had mentioned that there would definitely not be any rate hikes this year, right? But from this meeting now in June, they're talking about having definitely one interest rate cut this year. So next month, July, who knows? Maybe they'll go even further. They'll say, okay, maybe there's two rate cuts that are coming this year. We don't know, but definitely we're going in the right direction, and the stock market looks like they like this news coming out from the Fed. Okay, so that is today's videos, ladies and gentlemen. Moving forward, I do believe that Bitfarm stock is going to go up. I only control 1,900 shares of them, right? And as you could see here on the expiration date of my options here, is August 16th, right? So August 16th is when I will uh, either own more shares of Bitfarms or not, right? So I definitely do want to own more than 1,200 shares of Bitfarms before the bull run really takes effect. And that's going to happen when Bitcoin goes up from 70,000 right now, the average that it's at right now, to 100K, over 100K. That's when the bull run is really going to start on these Bitcoin mining companies. Also, when we finally do get a rate cut from the Fed, that should also move the stock up higher from here. So I definitely want to have more than 1,200 shares at that point. So I'm going to focus on now selling more of these $3 puts here. I only have one of these $3 puts right here. So by August 16th, I do believe that Bitfarm shares will be trading at between $3 and $4. So I'm definitely going to start looking at selling more of these puts. But I'm going to look at a good opportunity to sell this put. As you can see here, I have $562 in my buying power. I am going to be able to use this money here as collateral if I see an opportunity before Thursday when I invest another $300 in the stock market. If I see another opportunity for me to sell this $3 put, which means that if I see Bitfarms shares going down from here to like $2.20 again, which usually does happen. It usually stocks usually do go up and down before they break out of their rejection zone, right? So before Bitfarms does break out and move up to 250 to $3, that means that it will come back down and test its support level, which right now it seems to be at, if we look at the weekly chart, the support level seems to be at, wait a minute, that's my own chart. Let's take a look at Bitfarms chart here. Okay, so if we look at Bitfarms chart, their support level seems to be at $2.20. So if Bitfarms shares does come back down and test that support level, then I'll be looking for an opportunity to sell another one of these $3 puts. And I have the cash here in my buying power to be able to do that. And then put back the $300 that I use as collateral. I'll put it back into this buying power next Thursday. Okay. But that's the video for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoy this and you enjoy watching me make passive income every week, but I also hope that you are benefiting from it. Let me know in the comments below if you are. If you want me to talk about any other strategies, I did want to talk about Riot Platforms a little bit. I hope I have time for that. Let's see. Okay, so I'm running out of time actually, so I'll talk about this on my next video. But as you can see here, I did buy and sell some Riot calls in December of last year. So I'm going to talk about that on my next video, so you can see how buying options to start your position, it could also give you a good amount of income, but it is a higher risk. It is a higher risk strategy, so I do not recommend it unless you're able to watch the ins and outs of the stock that you're buying options on. If you're able to look at the trends and you know about technical analysis, then you could do that. But if you don't, it's a very, very high risk play. So that's the video for today. Ladies and gentlemen, as always,
This has been another video from Dad's Market Stats. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. If you know someone that can benefit from these videos, make sure to share it with them as well. Until next time, and remember, let's grow together.